Okay, y'all, it's Lady Jarhead. I'm gonna finally show those little trinket boxes that I finished up with. I have to glaze them though. They're kind of dull, so I have to glaze them. And I'm gonna glaze these with resin, even though I don't like to glaze with resin because I think I put a little too much ink in this one, and it's you have to really bend it, but it is bendy. But you have to really push on it. So I'm gonna glaze it with resin and make it more secure. And it's okay. I'm not really happy with this at all because it looks lopsided to me. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know. It doesn't look right to me. So, and I mean, these are cute little boxes, but the lids just sit on top. They don't have that little groove to where, it actually locks into place. So, I mean, they're cute for like putting your earrings in or something on your nightstand or something like that, but it's not, the lid is definitely not secure. It just sits there, So, I don't know, that's the way the mold was. So, the candy mold, it's to make chocolates out of. It's not really technically a jewelry box. I just molded it to make it little trinket boxes. So, this is the one I did with the sand in the bottom and the blue ink with the little seashells around it. That's sand on the bottom there. And then, see how it looks crooked? This side looks higher than that side. Maybe my table's unlevel. That's probably what it is. Because I've noticed a lot of my pieces are slightly off. So I think this table's... It doesn't matter because I'm fixing to move and have to level it all again anyway. So, but that's this one that has the starfish on top. It's just starfish and the blue tint resin. And I'm going to glaze with resin. Because you can see the little streaks from where I had Vaseline the candy mold. Because the piece I used, I cut out of the candy mold and I silicone molded it. It left the streaks on it, so now I have to glaze it. Or I can just make another mold. Like I can glaze this and then make another mold of it, so I won't have those streaks anymore. But yeah, that's this one. And I don't like it. There's a, look. Here, there's a empty space where I should have put another shell, but you can't see inside the mold, so I thought I was placing them pretty much, I guess this one kind of floated over. It should have been more this way, because these two are like right on top of each other, and these two is nothing. The rest are pretty much, this one's off a little bit too, but I mean the rest are okay. It's just that big gap right there looks retarded. But that's that little mold, and these are little. See what you know. Here's a jackhead. I don't know if y'all know how big that is. I'm trying to get something everybody knows the size of. Oh well. A jackhead is about, it'll fit in the palm of my hand. It's not as big, but it's decent size, medium size. So it's a small box. It's not a huge box. So here's a little packet of candy for trick or treat. It's that size. So yeah, it's a small box. This is a big box. This one's bigger than my hand. Bigger than my palm. My fingers go over the edge. But yeah, this one's a big one. And that's just a blue ink swirled in there. I was just testing my silicone molds that I had made. This mold came out actually really nice. So I haven't even sanded this one yet, so I have to sand it, but that's how that one came out. It came out pretty cute. This will hold, a good amount of jewelry, just for a little nightstand or whatever. They can decorate that and put stickers in here. I've got some stickers I want to use, some really nice stickers and stuff that I'm gonna decorate this type of box with. So be on the lookout for that one. And then this one is the little one with the pebbles. It's the same box as this one. I made two of these molds because there was two on a candy mold, so I just went ahead and made them both so I could pour two at a time. So it's just little pebbles. That's all it is. And then the top, it's kind of hard to see because I have to glaze it. But there's a seahorse in the middle. It kind of faded out with the rocks. It doesn't stand out. And then there's two starfish and two little glittery sand dollars. So It'll look better when I glaze it, but the seahorse didn't stand out that well. It'll probably stand out better if I put a solid color on the back of that. But I think it looks fine. So that's that little box there. It came out nice. All I gotta do is glaze these two. They've been sanded already. Glaze those. And then I had extra resin, so I just put a little bit of white in it and poured this jackhead. He's really shiny straight out of the mold. I haven't even glazed him. I haven't even sanded him yet. I have to sand those rough edges off. But yeah, so that's my jackhead. Mine is a silicone mold. I had made of that, so I have my silicone mold. So, and then the bottles, I poured some resin in them. Most of the glitter sank on that one, which kind of sucks, but there's still glitter in there. Purple with glitters. And then I'm going to do a little bit more clear and put a couple bones in it. And then that one will be done. And then this one, the ink is too dark, you can't see. There's pebbles in there, little rocks, and there's a spider in there. Can't really see because the ink's too dark. So I'm going to do another layer in this. I'll probably do a clear layer with just the teeniest bit of green dye in it so I can see through it, because that was just way too dark. And then add some candy skulls and stuff in there. And then this one, I put some seeds in here. These are things I picked up in Texas. They're like seed pods. They were all over the ground. I got a bag of them. They're weird looking, but I thought I could use them in resin or something, so I got a bag full of them and brought them home. And I broke one off and stuck it in there, and then some Spanish moss in there. And there's bugs and stuff in there too, but you can't really see because, again, the dye was too dark. So I'm going to pour another layer, probably about up to here, and add some skulls and bones and stuff to that. And then when those are done, I'll seal the corks on them, and then I got some bow I'm going to wrap around one of these. And then I got a couple more. This is a different bottle than all those. So, and then I got another one of these. Got two more to decorate for myself. The rest I got for buddy boxes. And then I got all my Halloween stuff out there from my sticker drawer. That's all Halloween. And that bag is all Halloween stuff. So that's all the stuff I got to make Halloween stuff with, which I'll be doing here soon. Start doing more coffins and ATC cards and stuff like that. And then I'm also thinking of, I haven't done my toilet seat mold yet, my resin toilet seat mold where I can do the seat and the lid. I think I'm going to do one of those in a horror type with blood and guts and stuff in it. I don't know. I'm thinking about stuff I can do in that. So I think I'm actually going to make one. I think that's going to be my next project. Make a big piece for Halloween with the toilet seat and lid. Make it less like creepy and gross. I think that's what I'm going to do. And that's really all that I finished the other day. And I'm not even finished. I got to finish the bottles and stuff. But I know Loving My Kids, you wanted to see these. And I'll show them again once I glaze them because they will be much shinier. But that's how they turned out. So I have to glaze this one too because it's a little too, it's not, I mean, you'd have to really bend it, but to me that's just, it's got to be stronger than that. So, and then this one came out fine, which I've got plans. These were just test pieces to test the molds that I had made. So I'll get a little more creative on the next one. And then this, I wanted to go over the questions you had. This is some more molds I have. See if I can move a chair. Okay, I have this bin full of candy molds that I have mold builded. Okay. And then that bin there is all of my silicone molds, bought silicone molds, and inside there's some Ziploc bags with my mold putty molds that I made. And then that bin and the one stacked on top that I can no longer fit in there, those are all my actual resin molds. So those are resin molds, those are silicone molds, and they're stacked up too because I ran out of room in there. So I'm going to have to get some more bins. I'm not going to buy any more bins because I'm hoping I'll have a storage system in the new house. My husband's going to build me some shelves and stuff. So this is that cupcake. This is a candy mold. And what I did was, see, these are the little things I made. And I used them as molds. This is what I made them out of. You can get this at Michael's Mold Builder. It's from Cast and Craft. It's a liquid latex. It's kind of stinky, but it works. So it's a lot cheaper than doing the silicone molds. A lot cheaper. So what you do is you take your candy mold. You take your candy mold and you take a paintbrush. Now you want to use a paintbrush that's junk because you're probably going to end up throwing it away after you're done. They have those little ones you can get at Walmart. You can get it like Harbor Freight, stuff like that. They're called little PM brushes for like dusting off electronics and stuff. That's what we used to use them for in the military. As a matter of fact, here's one right here. They look like this. It's a little disposable, cheap. These are very cheap. You get like 20 for a couple bucks or something. So you dip it inside. If you hold on, I'm gonna set you down. I don't have just me right now, so I'm gonna open it so you can see. It stinks. See, it's like thick, liquidy, rubbery stuff. Okay? And it does, some people can't stand the smell of it. Some people say it's horrible. It's not pleasant smelling, but it's definitely not that bad. I think a nail salon smells way worse than this, but that's just my personal preference. It doesn't bother me that much. Some people can't stand the way it smells. It's not perfume. It's stinky. It smells like rubbery butt is what it smells like. But put a fan on and it won't be bad at all. Or do it outside on the porch or something. It's not that bad. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your brush, you're going to dip it in there, and you're going to start on the outside of your piece and start brushing a coat. You want to do the first like 3 layers, you want to do very thin coats. And you just brush it around, and then you brush it all the way up to the top. You have to keep dipping your brush and, make sure it's coated, but a thin coat. And then once it dries, you just set it to the side and let it dry. Usually it doesn't take more than an hour, 30 minutes or so, depending on how thick a layer. The first 3 layers you really need to do thin. They have to be thin because it won't come out nicely if you don't do the first few layers thin. So then you do another layer and another layer. I like to do 6 layers, and in between each layer you let it dry. Some people will do 10 layers. It's your personal preference. These, you can tell this one does not have gauze in it. I ran out of gauze. So see how thin it is? It's really thin. This one, if I can get it off, here you go. This one, I use gauze, and it's much thicker. I don't know if you can tell by the video, but it's really a lot thicker than that one. So you do 6 layers, and in between each layer you let it dry completely before you start another layer. And then you take some gauze, some regular, you can get 4x4s, 6x6, 2x2s, whatever gauze, your roll of gauze, whatever gauze you can get a hold of. I find that the 4x4 gauzes work well because you can open the pack and then open the gauze up to where it's thin. You can open the layers up because it's folded over. And then you just set that sheet of gauze. I guess I should have had a gauze out to show you, but you just take your sheet of gauze, like pretend this is gauze, and you just lay it over it. While you do a thin layer, and then you lay your gauze over it, and you push it down to where it's not pimpled and puckled up and everything, and then you do another coat on top of the gauze, and then you leave that dry. And then you come back and you do at least 4 more coats. I usually do 6 coats, then gauze, and then 6 more coats is what I normally do. And then once that's completely dry and you've done all your coats, then you can use these as molds. And what you do is you flip the candy mold over and you set your pieces inside like that. See how I just did that? And then your little base of your cupcake, and you put it inside that one, and it supports it and holds it, because these, you know, once they're filled with resin, it's easy for them to tip over. I mean, this is a point, so you know, use your candy mold so it holds it in place. And then you pour your resin, and then you pop your resin out. Now, when you store your pieces, I store them back on my candy mold. I put them back. But first, I dust them. I take a brush again. Not the one you use for the mold builder, but another brush. And I dip it in baby powder, and I coat the insides and the ring of the mold. Because this liquid latex, if you don't coat it with baby powder and you go like that, it will stick to itself and you will not be able to get it off. It'll be a mess. So coat it with baby powder and it won't stick. See, I put baby powder on my mold, and I just put my pieces on there, and that's how they sit. Now when you're ready to use them, take a baby wipe and wipe the inside out, and then flip your mold over, set your piece in there, and pour. And then you can just peel it right out of there. When the resin's ready, you just pull back, you know, pull it back, pull it out, just rip it out. It's like liquid, it's latex is what it is. So you won't break the mold, you just pull your piece right on out. So when you get candy molds like this one is USMC emblems. It was a chocolate mold that I made so I can make my Marine Corps pieces. I just did the whole sheet. You can see the sheets of gauze that I put on there. It makes the mold much sturdier, if that's a word. So these are all my candy molds that I molded. This is, I don't know if this is the cupcake you were talking about, the big, I don't know if this is the one. It was a candy mold too. And see, I just made my own mold off that candy mold. See, I really don't use this much anymore, because now I've learned how to do those type of molds, and those are much sturdier, and these are time consuming because you have to do the coats. You know, each coat, let it dry, each coat, let it dry. So it's going to take you a couple days to do a candy mold. But I mean, it's so much worth it, because this you can get with your coupon. You can get this for like under $10 with your coupon at Michael's. Now, if you go to fewproducts.com, that's the regular price for it on their website. The price that you would pay with a coupon is their regular price. So you could actually, they have one that's double the size. It's about that tall. And they also sell it by the gallon on fewproducts.com. So it'll be the same price if you get it at Michael's and use your coupon. But if you want to get like the big price for what you would pay for this regular price at Michael's, then go to fewproducts.com and you'll get more for your money basically. So, but if you want to just test it, this is the smallest bottle, and it's like $16.99 at Michael's, but with your coupon, it's right under $10. So, you can try that and see if you like that. And yeah, so I think that's what you needed to know that I told you I was going to show you. I think, oh yeah, see, this is the gauze that I use. 4x4s. 4 inch by 4 inch, and then you can open it up, and it's really big. It's about as big as that sticker sheet there when you open the gauze completely up. So, and then you can cut sections off if you don't want to you want to just use a little piece for here and a little piece for here instead of draping it all the way across like I did the Marine Corps ones. Some of them I didn't, some of them I did the whole sheet. Like this. These are those big old lips. Everybody asks me about those big lips. That's a candy mold. Mold builded. And then I got some candy molds in here that I want to mold build. Like these skulls. I cannot wait to do those. I think it was Claudia Lala that sent me those. Those are so cool. So I need to mold build those. I haven't even used these molds in I don't know how long. I got a ton of cupcakes in here. Gumball machines. Ice cream cones. Other lips. Figure skates. Mustaches. 2 different kinds of mustaches. You name it. It's in there. So, that's how I did those. So if you have any other questions about it, or you didn't understand something, just let me know. There's all kind of ways you can make molds for yourself that aren't expensive. Those candy molds you can pick up on eBay for cheap. You can actually pick up lots of them where they'll just have like, variety, 20 different ones, and you'll pick them up for really cheap. And then, sorry, I'm trying to put my stuff back. My room is such a mess. And if you mold build them yourself and use those as molds, you'll actually save quite a bit of money. Especially, that route is expensive. Of course, you get a better mold. But there's nothing wrong with the mold builder molds either. I've been using them since I made them and I haven't had to remake them yet. So, yeah, that's it. It's also, I know people go to the Party City and they buy the liquid latex that you can use to make, costumes with. You do your face with scars and stuff, and it works the same as this. So if you go to a party store and they have the liquid latex and it's cheaper than this, you might want to just go ahead and get that, because it works the same. And you're going to have to powder those too. So, because if you don't baby powder them, once you've peeled them off the candy mold, they're going to start sticking to themselves and to each other, and it's going to be a mess that you won't be able to get untangled. So, unstuck rather. So you don't want to do that, because then you just wasted all that time and material. I think that's it. I think that's what you wanted to know. That's it, y'all. I haven't done anything. I've been working on that painting and I hate it already, so I'm going to start all over again. So, and that's it. That's all I've done. I went to Paint's Entertainment Center today. I got the primers done the other day. We got 2 coats on. We went to paint, and the painter man was in there touching up, and he told me that he would paint it for me. Wasn't that nice? So I'm going to bake him some cupcakes tonight and bring them over there tomorrow, me and my daughter, because he just saved us from a day's work over there. So I'm definitely going to bake him some cupcakes for a thank you or something, because that was really nice of him, because he didn't have to do that, and it really saved my back a lot, because it's already hurting, and I was going to be dying when I got home tonight for sure. So that was really cool of him. So sweet. You don't see that a lot anymore today, these days and age. Didn't get paid for it, but he told me he would do it anyway. That was really sweet. So this is a bunch of pieces that have to be, some of them are done. These are done. This is a solar power one. This is a solar power one. Some of these pieces were just thrown in here because we're taking off necklaces, but most of these pieces have to be sanded and glazed. And this is a top hat box I made. I don't know if I showed y'all that, but that's the little top hat. I have rambled too much. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.